Okay, so we're now going to look at rounding to decimal places, and this comes up every year on GCSE papers and often comes up on a number of different questions, that when we've got an inexact answer, we need to round it to a certain degree of accuracy. So we're going to start by looking at this number 3.47 to one decimal place. Now, if it's to one decimal place, that means it's got to go to a number with one digit after the decimal point on a number line. So it's going to go 3.2, 3.3, 3.4, 3.5, 3.6, 3.7. I'm trying to work out which of these numbers 3.47 is closest to. Well, 3.47 must be between 3.4 and 3.5. Now, it's going to be closer to 3.5 than it is to 3.4, so it would round up to 3.5. Everything to the right of this point rounds up to 3.5. Everything to the left of this point rounds down to 3.5 when I've got to give everything to one decimal place of accuracy. And the way we're going to do it is like this. We underline the digit after the decimal point up to the given decimal place. So in this case I'm rounding to one decimal place. I underline my 4 and then I'm going to circle my next digit. I need to test if the next digit is 5 or bigger, then the underlined number is going to go up. If it's less than 5, then I round off, which means it stays the same. So 3.47, the 7 is going to push that 4 up to a 5, and it becomes 3.5. Let's now look at a few worked examples. So here I'm rounding 48.18 to one decimal place. I underline my 1 and I circle my 8. The 8 is 5 or bigger, so it pushes this 1 up by 1 and it becomes a 2. Gives me an answer of 48.2. The next one's slightly more complicated. I've got 9.99 to one decimal place. So I underline the first decimal place, I circle the next digit. Now that 9 is going to push this 9 up to a 10. Now that means I'm going to put in my 0, I'm going to carry the 1 over. So I've got 9 add my 1, which is 10, and it's going to be 10.0. Now this is the only time when we're rounding that we keep that 0 afterwards, because it shows us that it's been rounded to one decimal place. The last worked example we're going to do looks at rounding to two decimal places. So here I've underlined the 2 decimal places after the decimal point. I circle the next digit. This pushes my 36 up by 1, so it's become 37, and I'm left with 19.37. It's worth just checking after you've rounded that you've got the right number of digits after the decimal point. If it's rounded to one decimal place, I should have 1 digit after the decimal point. If it's rounded to 2 decimal places, I should have 2 digits after the decimal point, like I do here. Okay, I'm going to leave you a moment just to write those down, so please pause the video if you still want to write those down. And now I'm going to set you some questions to do. Okay, so here are 9 questions for you to do. They start relatively easy with one decimal place and they gradually get to more difficult as you go on to 3 decimal places. Please pause the video again while you write this down, and then pause while you work through them, and I'll give you solutions in a moment as you unpause. Hopefully you got on pretty well with those 9 questions. This one here is probably about as difficult as you can get, and if you had no problems with that, then you've got a really good understanding of decimal places. Can you give yourself a mark now out of 9? If you need some more practice on this, please take a look at Hegarty number 56. Please take a photo of it and send me and send it across to me. Well done.